It occurs to me that this is the type of thing that we should expect and that would be thoroughly consistent with any kind of negotiation, that there's, a couple of days left before they even get to Friday. I mean, there's still several hours left in this week alone. And so what's the downside in putting out the idea that, we're far apart here?
Yeah, well, I think there's two things there. One, as you point out, negotiations are complicated. They take time, and certainly trade negotiations are complicated. The president has offered to do these negotiations in what some of his aides called Trump time, in a kind of accelerated pace. But the reality is, actually just hashing out the detail is hard. What we are hearing, but the second point I think is important to make is we're hearing a kind of tension between the administration's public comments. We had the president yesterday saying the talks were going very well. We had Larry Kudlow this morning saying there was a good vibe in Beijing and that people were soldiering on. And what we're hearing from people in the room, and I should stress here that we're hearing this from people on both sides, both the Chinese side and the U.S. side, and that is that they are a long way apart on the structural issues, the big important issues like industrial subsidies, the behavior of state-owned enterprises in China. And that's one of the reasons why we're seeing these talks drag on, and they are likely to drag on. We reported late last night that the U.S. and China are now considering a 60-day extension to their truce that expires March 1st. A lot of people, a lot of experts here in Washington say that is just a kind of acceptance of reality. These talks are complicated. They're going to take time. There's going to be some tough times ahead.
So can we assume, Shawn, that 60-day extension is now baked in? Is that the reality?
No, I don't think so. I think there's two reasons for that. One is the U.S. administration does not want to take away the March 1st deadline before it has to. That's a big point of leverage in these talks. When Bob Lighthizer, the U.S. trade representative, sits across from his Chinese counterpart, Liu He, he has one big tool that he can use to exert pressure, and that is the threat of increasing tariffs to 25%. That's not going to go away in the next few weeks. And Larry Kudlow, in fact, told us this morning that there had been no decision yet on the 60-day extension. But it's certainly in the mix, and there's a lot of people here who say it's the kind of rational next step.